Awesome.
Ba, ba, ba.
Ba, 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 ba.
Let me admit him, but
Perfect. Cool. All right. What's up, y'all?
what's
Going
that?
on?
It's another bright
everyone?
day in Sunnydale, baby.
It's a nice, a wonderful, hot Monday evening.
Yeah, I could do without the heat, to be honest. But
Yeah, I know you could, but
cold, crisp Corona.
Corona, dude. Same. I have whatever I want, and it's always a Corona.
I might walk over to your fridge in a couple minutes and go get one.
It's oh, you know what you could do is just wait.
There was actual Corona. That's why you're drinking a Corona.
You have the length of all I can to come and grab it.
That's true.
Brian, how are we looking on people getting in, people here?
What's up, Neil? Neil is here. We got some cats. We got some people on the Facebook, some people on the YouTube. So
I wanted to like get my. Ooh, that was a dangerous maneuver I just did there. Let me just do a little. I'm gonna do a thing real quick.
I did a thing,
guys. I did a thing.
Yeah.
There we go. Twitch.tv.
Oh, nice.
Good terms. I don't know what just happened, but
all right. Zach Coker says, "You guys suck."
You're right, Zach. We do. And thank you for your support. Thank you for your 100 bits.
I really, really appreciate the honesty of our fans.
Man, Zach is low key like you couldn't get more OG than he is.
Oh, I'm aware. I know. I've seen.
I know you know.
I've seen the YouTube comments. I know Zach knows what's up. Oh, what's up, Twitch? Okay. We got some people.
They're rolling in.
How you guys doing? Welcome to today's Stream Fest Day 5. We're going to be doing the Turning Point track by track breakdown. It would be so sick if we would do that with the bassist and mix engineer Gio. But Gio got vaccinated, his second dose yesterday, and is currently on his ass. Not good. Not having a great time. So we're going to be rocking without him, unfortunately, until he feels a little bit better. Maybe he'll call in today, but maybe we'll just hang out with him on the video game stream coming up on Wednesday. But so that's okay. The rest of us, we know a lot about the rest of the record.
We'll handle the load for sure.
Today's stream day 4 or 5.
Today is stream day 5. If you include Zach's bonus day yesterday, your chat with Craig Bitteman.
Yes,
the Vinyl Side chat.
If anybody
was sweet.
Thank you. If anybody wants to check that out, you can go to Craig's Instagram account. He's private, but he's a nice guy. And if you're normal and not a weirdo, I'm sure he'll accept you to be his friend or his follower, whatever it might be. And yeah, we chatted for like an hour and a half about vinyl, and I told my life story through my vinyl collection, as it were.
Okay, it's great.
It was a good time. Yeah,
it was great. There's two guys, and they both have glasses and the hair up, and one of them's got black hair, and one of them has like white hair, and they're both in front of what looks like wallpaper of IKEA cubes filled to the brim with records.
His collection is much larger than mine, seemingly.
It's really.
It's not about the size of the collection, Zach. It's about substance.
Honestly, Zach, you could have used the camera angles. You probably could have made it look good. What's up? We get Travis.
By going from low.
Travis, what's up, Slippy Dips? What's up, Nick? Nick is on Facebook. How you guys doing? All right, so we're gonna do the track by track breakdown. Just 3 of us. So we'll just talk about guitars and vocals and songwriting and production and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Anything you guys want to say before we get into it?
I don't know. I think let's just run it. Maybe we should try. Should we talk about how long we want to talk about each song? Should we give it like a cap? So this isn't like 3 hours long.
Yeah, we probably need to put a limit on the songs. For I don't know how long though. Probably like 10.
I'll tell you though. Minutes. Once we do put a limit, we could take it to that limit.
Thanks for that, man.
Singanini on Twitch says Misa
really
like
cool.
Zach background.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
I
you.
thought you'd say boo to what I said, which will also be funny.
I'm in the hidden Gungan City on the planet Naboo.
He's a hidden city. That's
On
my
second
first and
thought,
last
no.
live. That's not true. It's not my
Not
last.
really, no.
Okay.
It is
Should we talk about any song like before it, or just run it and then talk about it afterwards? What do you think? Set it up at all?
Yeah, why don't you set it up a little bit?
Well, first off, I just want to tell everyone that just go ahead and throw any questions you have, obviously, in the chat or the comments, and we'll try to get to them. And if not, we could probably talk forever.
Yo, and also I'll add, try to keep them like song specific, like as we're moving on. Like if you want to talk about, if you're not, I don't know, if you can't make it in the next hour or something, and you want to ask a question about Turning Point or something.
I mean, I'll be collecting the
yeah,
I'll collect the questions as well if they get ahead of us. And so if we don't answer your question when you can watch, this is all saved on Twitch and on Facebook, and I think on YouTube. So you'll be able to find out the secrets.
Yeah.
Unless
already.
they're base related.
Way to mute my phone.
Off the bat, and this is a good pre-album question. Slippy Dips asks, how did you guys pick the track order?
We kind of just always had it like that. Like as we wrote every new song, we kind of added each one to be like, because All I Can was the first one that we did, and then Hamster Wheel was the second one that we did, and then it kind of just started like building up that way. I don't know. There were various different versions of the track listing, but I also was really intentional in trying to make it like All I Can is very pop punk, and then Hamster Wheel's also kind of pop punk, but like maybe more emo leaning, and then Light at the End is kind of heavy. So kind of try to not put two tracks that are like a similar vibe next to each other. Finding the spot for Chess, which we'll get to, was definitely the biggest obstacle, but I think we're all pretty stoked on where it ended up.
We definitely also we thought we were front loading it. We put all the songs that we thought were not necessarily our favorite songs. Like it's not like we don't like Wasted My Age, but we put the ones that we thought would be the most successful bangers up front, so that the record just like kind of got more. I think had the bangers and then got more interesting throughout. So if you fucked with us, you'd listen to the rest of the record.
Yeah, like if you got like 3 or 4 songs in, you'd be like, okay, I think I'll keep listening to this. And then from there, we kind of just mix it up. But honestly, we might have done that incorrectly, because some people's favorite stuff is later on the record. So,
I mean, that was the whole thing. Was we had no idea what people would like. We didn't know anybody was going to listen to it. So,
I'm also a big believer in not putting something on the record that isn't a banger. So, like,
yeah,
I mean, we cut plenty of things from it. We just didn't.
We did cut songs.
Yo, I realized what our surprise play should be. We should play the only B-side from the record.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
We should play Wish.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really funny.
That would be the thing to tease, I feel like.
Yeah, that would be fun. That'd be really fun.
I think they'll all then realize why it didn't make the record, because it's just not as good as the other songs. But
Travis says, can we break down the album art? I think we can. I think maybe we should do that at the end, because that's
I think so.
Here's what I think. I think what, like, per song, explain that part.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Because
not all of them are
it's back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And I can hold up the album art. That's fun. All right, guys. Should we listen to some fucking All I Fucking Can?
All right. We're not
You guys ready?
The health of my capsule or anything.
Sorry for everyone's ears for that.
You don't have a you don't have a limiter on this? I'm a front man.
On your rig?
All I can. All
I'm
right.
sure Zoom has a limiter.
Let's do it, Ivan.
What's up, Kim? Hell yeah.
Everyone's getting muted, and here's All I Can.
Woo!
jostling the space I left inside your sheets. Turn your longing into action. Take this time to find your passion. Don't forget that we both deserve to dream. Let's grow enough so we become the best of us. We'll promise not to give this up, no. We'll find a way. You need to be okay with me living on a stage, far away, stuck in a band. Oh, so I promise later on, when these times are done and gone, and life plays out the way we planned, I'll give you all I can. I'll give you all I can. You need to be okay with me living on a stage, far away, stuck in a band. Oh, 'cause I promise later on, when these times are done and gone, and life plays out the way we planned, I'll give you all I can. You need to be okay with me living on a stage, far away, stuck in a band. Oh, 'cause I promise later on, when these times are done and gone, life plays out the way we planned, I'll give you all I can. I'll give you all I can.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
Nice. Well done, Ivan.
Kid, you are not unmuted, my guy. There we go.
It did just say the host wants you to unmute, so I think we have to do it. I think you like allow us to unmute, and then we have to physically do it.
There we go. How's that, kid?
Yeah. Well, you
Hey.
hit it. You hit it right when I hit it, so you actually muted me again. But it's okay.
Oh, we love to see that. Love to see that.
So Slippy Dip says, "I think this was the perfect track one. Made a lot of my friends go, 'Who's this?' in the car," which is kind of how I've joined the band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to start with this. Fucking this was not the first song that was written. But it was the first song that Kid recorded, and Zach showed it to me. He's like, "Yeah, Kid did these vocals on this song," and it was actually the first. I think it was the first version of the song I'd heard. I don't think I heard any previous iterations of it, but I heard it and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, it was one of the first times I felt like I was listening to a band that someone was showing me, and not like one of my friends that someone was showing me. Not to say like all of my friends who do music are fucking bangers, so you know it's great either way. But it just truly felt transcendent from everything before that, especially with stuff that you know I felt like I was potentially a part of. Yeah, it just ripped. It made me feel so happy, and it was also just generally great.
Yeah, this was I have a lot to say about this one. That's cool that you thought it's a perfect tracked one. That who said that? Slippy Dips. Yeah, that was really intentional. I feel like we kind of always thought this was track one, and by the end of it, I think we thought this was like maybe too poppy and not like the perfect summary of the album in a way. I don't know. I feel like if I were to do it again, maybe I would have started it with Light at the End or something. I just feel like that's like such a big introduction, but I don't know, something with like the way that Geo especially changed the filtered intro, because before that was just telephone, and then the way he sounded like the old time radio on like my demo of it, and then I love what it did, how he made it just sound like like almost like you're like, wait, is this what it sounds like? And just kind of wrong. And then
Yeah.
after we like one of the only things we added afterwards was that like all of the guitar noises. So if it starts like I think it's my guitar, and then I think I got everybody else's guitar to make a so it's like my guitar, kid's guitar, Ivan's guitar, and then I just used my bass. I just like hit noises in my room and like made feedback, and then reamped all of those separately, sent them to Geo, and he made the intro how it is now. Yeah, we always feel like this is like an opening song, so I think it's definitely like the right way to start. Yeah, I don't know what else should we talk about with this. You guys have anything to add?
I mean, first of all, okay, you can go.
So this is the first song I sang. I've told the story before about showing up to Los Angeles, just visiting to see if I was going to move there, and I ran into you at El Tejano, and it was Palazzo's birthday, and everybody I ever knew who lived in Los Angeles was all in this one place. It was the first night I'd ever been there. It was really crazy, like very much like signs are pointing to go here, dude. And you were blackout drunk, which I didn't know, and you were like, dude, you were working at a record label, and you were leaning to me, and you're like, dude, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna start a band. It's gonna be the one, like it's gonna be like Under It. It's gonna be like the one we always like wanted to start when we were kids. And he's like, and you should be in it. You should play guitar. I was gonna play guitar and be like the second vocalist, like what Gio does in our band. And I was like, sick, dude. I'm gonna move to Los Angeles and do this. And when I moved here, when I did move here, you'd been blackout drunk. You did not remember that. There was somebody else you'd had singing on the demos, and I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. And but eventually you had this song that you wanted me to demo. I was like, I was staying in Brian Jones's room, and we went, famously to the downstairs in the record studio in the middle of the night. And I cut what we thought were demo vocals to this song. And I remember like waiting a few days and then listening. I got it back for the first time and listening it back, and I was like, is that fucking me, dude? Like, I've never heard myself sound like that. It was the first time anyone had given me like a lot of the kind of directions that you gave me in what's up, Skylar? Skylar's on Twitch. It's the first time someone had given me a lot of the directions that you gave me, like holding the notes a little bit longer and the way vowels attack. And I was just really blown away by the way it made me sound. And I was like, oh, so this is something else. And then those demo vocals ended up being the final vocals that are on the record, and that was just the beginning of the band for me.
Yeah.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. December 2017.
Oh wait, really? You don't know this? I remember you coming to El Tejano and I being there. I don't remember talking about it, but I do remember being like, oh, because I always was like, I always knew you would come out here, and I was like, I feel like if we're complementary guitar players and like, whatever each of us could, I know I knew you're also better than me. So I was like, okay, so if I write a part, Brian could definitely play it. And I knew that you sang, and I knew that you sang really well, but I didn't know that you were like the fucking lead singer at the time. And
I didn't really know either. I was singing lead in bands and stuff, but I didn't know about all this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. So the first all of these songs, a lot of them just began as demos of just me making them. There's like plenty of which I made with Ivan, or plenty of which I made with Gio. Some I just made with random other friends. This one was one of them. I made the track by myself for All I Can, and it changed along the way in some different ways. But I wrote this song. I think it was over that summer, the summer before you moved. So I think summer 2017. Actually, honestly, it might have been even much before that. I wrote it with my friend Sam DeRosa, who, if you guys aren't familiar, she's a pop artist and a really amazing pop writer. She's written like a ton of songs you definitely know for other artists. Like she wrote that song "Broken" by Lovely the Band. That is like obviously a massive hit song. Or she co-wrote it with the band, but she's whatever. But I'm just fortunate to know her and be her fucking homie. And we also just write together all the time. Like there's a song that probably will make LP2 that she and I wrote that is also I'm really stoked on. But whatever, we're writing, and we were both in long distance relationships at the time, and both of which were in Boston. my girlfriend Nina and her boyfriend Shane. And we were just kind of, talking about that and wrote this song. And I think we got the chorus down, and then we're kind of like, we had the melody, we really liked the melody. And I think it was at like a breaking point of like, all right, where do we go from here? Who do we like? And we kind of both, she was like, honestly, like we could use this. I'm down to sing this, but like, I'm kind of just more stoked on giving this to your band or, the band that would become Good Terms. And so it kind of just began as just a song. And then as we, continued writing or whatever, then it was like, then the first verse kind of felt like, all right, cool. We'll be on tour, whatever, like kind of just projecting this whole thing of like, and also I was, it was a bit of projecting, but what later became my actual business touring career of like, doing that stuff. And Ivan can resonate with me on that too. And just being away from the person and being like, I love you. I see such a future in this, and this is really important to me. But like, unfortunately, our relationship and my career, or Sam's and my career, were like at direct conflict with that. And it was like, as long as we're doing this, like, what is the thing that is that for you? Because I know that you have it, and you might not know what it is yet, but whatever that is, find that, and so that we can kind of be on this journey together. And I think in a way, both of us, got that vision correct by the end of it.
I don't think there isn't anything on the album art from All I Can, is there?
I don't think
Here's
so.
Here's a desaturated over. I don't think there's anything on there.
Yeah, not that one.
No,
Not that song.
we thought about having Wiccac add something, and then we were like, there is just too much on it already.
There's so much
Funny
going
on here,
on.
yeah.
All right, let's hit him with
I know
track.
what my last note before I move on is when we were getting our mixes back, the moment that I had been waiting for was in All I Can, which is the first mix we got back. After the second chorus, it just does the big bang, I'll give you all I can, I'll give you all I bang, I'll give you, and then it goes into the breakdown, and that those big held chords, that was like the moment I've been waiting for to hear, like, yo, how good is this sound? And I remember listening to it in my bed, being like, this is mix one, but these guitars rip. And yeah, knowing that we were gonna, be the biggest band in the world.
It's a great first song. It's definitely like the tone of the song is definitely talking about being like hopeful for the relationship you're in, but it's also talks about the thing that we fucking want the most, which is just touring.
Yeah.
So it's
And
good.
also, I mean, as we listen to the next song, I'm interested if All I Can is anybody's favorite song. I think all of us going in were like, oh yeah, this is the song people are going to like the most from us, and people like it for sure. But I feel like it's not. I feel like
it surprised me.
Maybe it's in the top 5 for people, but it feels like
It's definitely one of the most accessible, but
yeah, this is like one of the songs I was like, oh yeah, we're never going to play a show and not play this live. And now I'm like,
no, yeah, I don't. It's
Here we
not
go.
one of those songs.
Interesting.
More Than I Deserve might be one of those songs.
I know.
right?
Exactly.
That's crazy. Yeah, Kim says bring on the tours. Hell yeah. Bring on the second song, Ivan.
Yep, let's do it.
all right, here we go. Let's check it out.
nothing. It's all just nothing. I played it smart, I played it safe. Why do I feel like such a waste? It's black and white, I'm black and blue, and I've got nothing left to lose. But it's getting harder and harder. Yeah, it's getting harder and harder. I wish I realized this sooner. Oh no, I hope it's not too late. Not too late. The years are passing fast. Can I pick up where I left off last? Did I compromise my fate? I hope it's not too late. I hope it's not too late. I hope it's not too late.
Nice. Nice.
All right, now we're back.
This was the first song we wrote together, guys.
That's right.
And it was the first time I ever had home state breakfast tacos, and that changed both things, changed my life.
Man, yeah, that's huge. That's actually huge.
You guys probably remember that session better than I do.
Yeah, because it was at 8 a.m. and I woke up at 7:30 and the session started at 10 a.m. Like that's when it actually took place. I distinctly remember that.
Ivan, what would you have been in town for? Was that around? That wasn't Jesse,
Sure.
right? Was that before? Was that something from Muna? Must have been,
No, Muna would have been shit.
because you were doing Jesse when I was doing Brockhampton.
I was doing Muna in 2017, so this would have been Jesse, I think.
No, it was way before Jesse.
This would have been fall 2017, I think.
And yeah, it was
I think
Muna.
it was Muna. Yeah.
That's wild.
And I think we just wrote the track first, right?
So what happened was, so we were gonna write it. We were gonna have a co-writing session, and just for shits, right? Like you were amassing these punk rock tracks,
Mm-hmm.
and writing with people, and we were all together. So we were gonna write a track together, and I brought in two riffs. I showed you guys two riffs. I showed you guys the pedestal riff, and I showed you guys the hamster wheel riff, and y'all were like,
Iconic.
"Wow, those are really sick. I don't think we can deal with that crazy one today." And so we put the pedestal one aside for later. But so then we chose the hamster wheel riff to write, which I had. That was the very first thing I played in the very first tube amp I bought, which I did in 2015, very late into my guitar playing.
Classic.
And I was just trying it out. And I played that riff, and I was like, "Oh, that's very sick." It was an orange Micro Terror, which I highly recommend for your first tube amp, $300. Sounds fucking sick. Yeah, and then we co-wrote and we wrote and we did the track. And I remember that I had that riff for like 3 years and I had no idea what to do with it. And you were just like, "Cool. Well, I feel like the verse can just go to B minor." And I was like, I never thought of that.
I think I'm pretty sure this was another one that I was probably like just producing. I probably had like a guitar in my lap, but I think both. Oh no, I think Kid, you and I were plugged in, and Ivan was playing on the acoustic guitar.
The acoustic guitar.
But like, remember you guys totally sussed out the verse. I had like nothing to do with that. When it went into the punk beat, I think I like initiated that. Like
I remember the
that arrangement switch, but then you did the do bat 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 thing.
Oh man, I was so excited about that backbeat. I was so into that.
I remember us hearing the bat bat and being like, "Oh yeah, like a Maroon 5."
We
Yeah, literally harder to breathe, the Soli section.
Yep, that's what our reference was for that those breakdown hits. It was Maroon 5
when it goes to the diminished chord.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really funny. You're correct, but I
Yep.
totally forgot about that. Wow, that's hilarious.
But yeah, we did the track and we didn't have the bass solo yet. It was just like a boring guitar part instead of Gio's bass moment.
Okay, well, we don't just throw shade on my boring
Yeah,
guitar.
it was clean, but we were all but
Yeah, no, that's real.
we ruined the thing that we were trying to make, which was like okay, we don't have any part yet that, at least on any of the tracks, that was just like a completely barren, super low dynamic, just one thing. And then it came like, or before it went into the bass part, it originally just went to clean palm muted guitar, just going juk, 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 juk.
Yeah, I wrote that part. The music and lyrics very much inspired by like Manchester Orchestra. And I was like, yeah, this could be like one of those like super like Andy Hall in the microphone.
Yeah.
And then at some point someone was just like, yo, what about Boston Hardcore Breakdown? It's like
It was
yeah.
because that was one of the requirements Gio had for joining the band.
Oh, I forgot. That's so real.
Yeah, but before the old version, it just went instead of doing Gio repeating the scream and I got nothing part, it just went I got nothing, and then with just a held out open for like way too long, and then I think Kid, you just went fuck. Like,
Oh no, it was literally,
fuck.
I got nothing.
Yeah, and then so like we made it this really small thing, and then but as soon as we replaced it with the bass, like this shit was done. Like the vocals were done. We had everything totally done. And then I'm pretty sure when we were in Monkey Claws recording Light at the End, that's when we were like, well, shit, Gio needs a bridge, because we thought like, oh, maybe he can just have the solo. How far is far enough? Out whatever. And we're like, no, that should still be crowd vocals. And then I think we all kind of were like, hamster wheel, and then we realized that it should just be him and bass. Yeah, that really brought a new life.
Yeah, the song definitely. This is my first. I think it was the first song we co-wrote. Was this the first song that I co-wrote lyrics on, or had we written other stuff first?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think you and I had probably written other stuff first.
I think wasn't More Than I Deserve already done?
I think More Than I Deserve and Useless Things were done.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, I don't think they were. They weren't, because we wrote that Christmas, and I want to say we would have written this the Christmas prior.
This would have been Hamster Wheel. We wrote in January. No. We wrote it in October. That's right.
And then it could have been the same year, months later.
No. Okay. I remember this. This was done. And in the fall, in January, that was when I did that that like driving gig for Nightlife.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I only think there were like 3 tracks done. Like, or I think we would have written More Than I Deserve, because I remember I went back and re-recorded the guitar, which is that was the first actually re-recorded guitar, was More Than I Deserve, which is why it sounds the worst. And I just got better at recording and editing everything as it went on. But that, I think I redid it because I was like, oh, Ivan and I just wrote this great song, so it like this is going to have to make it, so let me redo the guitar for it. So this would have been before, but I'm pretty sure, Ivan, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure we made the entire track together in my room in person, but then we wrote the track, or we wrote the
lyrics over Skype.
Yeah, we wrote the lyrics. Yeah, over
For
FaceTime.
For Hamster Wheel.
For Hamster Wheel.
Maybe we did.
We wrote some of them. I remember a little bit, because I remember I'm pretty sure Ivan was in the room to explain a 5-minute drive. I would drag it out to 10 just to spend less time in a hamster wheel. I even wrote that entire half of the verse, including the title of the song.
He was being all like, I'm not cool and not, and like, I think we all kind of like got through the first 4 lines really quickly, because the Callous Knuckles, I know you contributed, Ivan. And then we like got all that, and we were like, I think we were probably thinking, continue the continuing that second half. And then you were just kind of like sitting alone. Kid and I were probably like fucking around with something, and then you were like, yo, just hear me out real quick. And you're like, what if it was kind of like touche delivery, where it's like, and then you just said the entire 5-minute drive, I would drag it out to 10 just to spend less time in the hamster wheel. For security, it wasn't worth it just to feel. And I think you got up, it wasn't worth it just to feel empty and unfulfilled. But you didn't have like a rhythm for it. And then we got like all through that part up to that.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it just to feel. And we're like, oh shit, it's too long. We have to change. And then I'm pretty sure, Kid, you were like, oh no, that's just the beginning of the next section. And then
that's exactly how that happened.
I
Yeah.
also remember when we did the vocals for it. I remember that I had smoked a big old fat joint earlier that day, and had actually gotten smoked way too much of it and gotten like super paranoid, and had a high freak out. All this like 6 hours before the session, and then I went to the session and we recorded like the first half of the song, and I was just like, "Ah, dude, I smoked a joint and I fucked it all up. Like, I do not sound as good as I do on All I Can." And then I think we did the second verse, and you were Zach in the producing was super hype on the vocals. And I was like, okay. And then I don't know if we went back and did the rest of it, but I remember just being so scared that I'd fucked it up.
No, I remember.
And then,
Remember, you definitely got like high earlier in the day, and in the middle of the session, you were like, okay, I realized that like I can't do this
No,
on it like on a day that I record. But
learned a lot on this record.
yeah, but we did, because our process usually was we would always start with the first verse, because we were like, all right, cool, that's like a good way to start. We know it has to be good, so this has to like, and then we would usually move through the chorus, get the first chorus done, and then be like, all right, what's the next important thing? And I'm pretty sure we did the entire song and didn't do the second verse. And then you're like, yeah, I don't know. Like, we can always come back and hit the second verse.
Yeah.
And I think I was just like, just try it. And your voice was like so shredded by that point that I was like, just lean into it. Just like kind of like almost sound like your voice already sounds like really tattered. Like maybe just add more emotion to sound like you're kind of crying. And remember you saying at least the first part or the first half of it, and like All I Can, when you sang All I Can, it was like, okay, this is high quality. Like, this guy is a really good singer. Like, this is what we should be doing. But that, you singing the second verse, that was the singular moment that I was like, Brian's the singer of this band. Like, it was like likely prior to that. I know that sounds weird that it's like, I mean, so long ago to be like, to even envision you not as a part of this band is like absurd. But like, that, I'm just an overthinker, so I thought of every potential reason as to why not. But as soon as that happened, I remember like you didn't see me because I intentionally turned away from the vocal booth, but you doing the second verse, I just started like bawling and being like, yeah, man, let's do more takes. Yeah, sure, let's go.
That's good. Let's get 3 more.
All right, well, this one has a pretty big contribution to the cover.
Oh yeah,
This was one of the pedis. Fuck off, dude. I think we may have. I don't think we told him to include this, did we? We said to include things from the lyrics, but like,
no, we didn't.
We said, so we gave him some ideas, but the smiley face thing is
the
all
smiley face, which we have taken for sure.
That's everything.
My favorite. One of my favorite things on the whole fucking cover is the smiley face.
Yeah. Any more to add? I feel like we got all that.
It's been about 10 minutes.
The song is unfortunately most like definitely the first like verse in. It's just all by autobiographical. None of it's even metaphor. It's just literally like, oh fuck. But
This song has a lot of Ivan contributing from it's a lot of your story. We're all telling our own story in it, but this one I always think of as your thing.
Bummer, but not anymore. So on to sometimes guys, when you're stuck in this hamster wheel, you just need to not see, but know that there's light at the end. So let's go on to that next one. And fuck me.
Brilliant.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Byron on Facebook says, I remember hearing this song for the first time and thinking the singer sounds like a way better version of Mark Hoppus.
That's really funny.
Interesting, Byron. Gotta say, interesting. Thank you.
I don't know that I agree with that, but I think it's a compliment. So
I don't understand, but I do appreciate it. I do. Yeah. And he says this after. So thank you, Byron.
maybe the Boogie vocals, because it's a lot of me in there. I kind of sound like Mark Hoppus.
One of my favorite things that my buddy Will from England introduced me to is like the little rock and roll. It's like little, I did, yeah, like Mark Hoppus. Oh.
Anna Garcia says the lyrics, though. Thank you, Anna.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. I'd love to talk about the lyrics and what they are, in fact, about.
Yes. So I have a couple things to talk about with this song. So this is really funny to us because, and I just have to share this. So I mean, I'll speak at least on for myself, and everyone else is in the same page, but all of us are like pretty strong atheists. None of us are in the Jesus camp. And so this is the first song that we started running ads on, and there's a ton of people on Facebook, which of course it's Facebook, that all were like, I realized afterwards that they said, I don't need to see the light at the end. I just need to know it's there, as though it's like, I don't need to see the fact that there is God. I just need to know that God exists or something. And as soon as that clicked, I was like people were like, there's plenty of stuff like they'd quote that and then be like, yes, praise God or something. It's like, no, that is not what we wrote about at all.
No.
Yeah. I've always been a big believer in like the second that we let a song go.
It's cool that somebody hears that, though. I mean,
it's whatever it means to
their
that
own meaning
person.
to find. Yeah.
But faith does not belong to theology. Faith has its own like individual meaning outside of theology. I don't think that Darth Vader was concerned about anyone's lack of faith in a religion.
Yeah, that's the faith we meant, guys.
Like, yeah, just like having faith in yourself and in the people around you, and obviously the Force and like
the ancient ways.
Yeah, this was the last song that I think this was the last, other than Chess, or no, Chess was
the way last song. Yeah, this was the last like 3-minute song.
Yeah,
Chess was the garnish, if you will.
Yeah,
but yeah, this one I remember we had said that we were gonna felt like, all right, I think we have a record. Like, let's stop writing songs for this record. And then like 2 days later, Zach was like, hey guys, I did a thing. I realized that we didn't have any of my favorite shit, so I wrote a track with all my favorite shit so we could just put it on there.
Can I tell you why? Because so this song would have been written like August, September 2018, I think. And that was the last full Warped Tour, like the last full cross country Warped Tour, which I went to many dates of, all of which I saw Every Time I Die at, because obviously I'm not going to miss that band live. But I realized in every single one of their songs in their set, even if it didn't have this on the recording, they like at one point in the song, it goes to like a completely slower tempo riff. And every single time I was just like, oh yes, like we need to do, like, that's what's missing. And so like just wanting to make a song with that, I was like, all right, I'll just have a really fast song. Like obviously everything else just kind of like progressed as it naturally did, just writing riffs and whatnot. But then it was always in my head, like, okay, it has to have a crazy tempo change breakdown thing. And yeah, that was what sparked the track. But yeah, the lyrics I remember being like a big, this was like, of our many voice memo therapy sessions, this was like probably the most therapy and probably one of the longest. I don't even think we wrote lyrics the first night. I think we just literally, we talked in your guys' living room for like 4 hours or something.
Yeah, but it wasn't mine yet because I didn't live here. This was during Jesse, and this was.
Oh no, but you were renting the empty room, right? I think you were technically living in there.
Yeah,
you're like living in Nick's room.
I was living in Virginia, and at that point, I was like, I think this song was like this song was like the catalyst for me. Like I think while I was on tour, like while I went away, that the days following, that's when I was like, hey, I'm pulling the fucking trigger. I'm going to be there in January, like or February, because this song is another one of my word vomits of just like, I've been fucking beating, you know, every opportunity I had into the ground. And I just like, I just kept feeling like I was getting nowhere. Like I'd wasted the last 8 years of my life. And the chorus is literally, I think, just something I said, and Zach stopped me while I was saying, he's like, that's the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just literally just
You
like,
said it. You said literally, I don't need to see the light at the end. I just need to know it's there.
Yeah.
It was like that. Yep, there it is.
and for me it was just like, yeah, like, and the lack of faith was just like, I talk about it a lot, how if you surround yourself with people that you trust and that you believe in and whose opinions you admire and can go off of, if they believe in you, then and obviously, like, we're all creatures of self-deprecation, and that all happens and whatever, but like, if your friends believe in you, there are two options. Either they're right and there's something to believe in, or they're full of shit and gassing you up, and like maybe get people around you that aren't yes men and aren't just gonna bullshit you. And that's like I need to like figure out how to like reorient my faith in myself and believing in myself, because it just like, I was exhausted emotionally and physically, and definitely that like, how strong is strong enough line fucked me up, because it was just like, I'm literally giving everything maximum effort, and it just like didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. And then I think literally like within 2 weeks of finishing this song, I was on the road. I can't remember which leg of the Jesse tour I was on, but I texted you guys and I was like, I'm fucking doing it. Like, that's it.
Nice.
And that was like,
I think this is probably right before you went to China.
yeah, I guess so, like August or September. And
Yeah.
and I think what I did was I was like, I just kind of sat down and did the math and was like, all right, when I'm done with this tour, I'll have like 10 grand to just like fuck it and jump. And once I figured out that math, and I was just like, it's literally now or never. And it had been now or never for like a year and a half or 2 years at that point, but it was now or fucking never. And I just like, that's it. This is it. And we had written this song, and that kind of like helped orient me and decide, get all my thoughts in order about how I felt about everything. And the fact that it's not going to happen, and, don't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. Like, this was the change I had to make.
Yeah, this was definitely like, this was the final period on what is without a doubt like the hardest and one of the worst years of my life, which was about September 2017 to September 2018. It was a productive year because a lot of this album was written in that time period, a lot of the tracks, but like, I had quit. I quit my job in September 2017, and kind of I had like stuff lined up, but it was more just like kind of little production gigs here and there. Like, and I hadn't stockpiled enough money, so like I was living month to month on my income. And I think this was when it was like, I remember. I think a catalyst for this was just like, I know I'm doing the right things, and I know I'm putting myself in like the situations to like build what I want to build, but I just wasn't seeing any payoff yet. Like I said, I said this yesterday on the vinyl thing for anybody who saw that, but like that month I had like $88 in my bank account, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent, like making like literally just beans and rice every day to eat. But it was still like, I knew, from a year ago, which we're about to get into with Wither Away and a bunch of the other songs, where it's like, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'd rather eat rice and beans for every single meal and work what I want to work on every day, rather than like be stuck in this thing. But I don't know. I feel like also, not to get all spiritual or whatever, because I don't really even necessarily believe this, but like, I do think there's something just factual, not in a spiritual way, of like, when you put yourself in situations that, like, when you just constantly like, what's the Ivan, help me with this, there's like a saying that's like luck is like where opportunity meets what am I looking for? I know you.
Opportunity meets preparation.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think I had been in the preparation stage of this. And then just a couple weeks later, because everything that Ivan was doing, Ivan was like he had already killed it previously on tour and put in him just being an amazing professional, put in a good word for me with this company that both of us now freelance for. And they were like, it just hit me up on a whim. And then 2 weeks later, I went on tour with Brockhampton for like many months, and that was the answer to how am I going to pay rent. And I feel like, that was really lucky. I'm like, thank God it happened. Like, I don't know what I would have done if not for that. So that's why this is definitely a very depressing song. But like, I don't know, there's something to that of just like, even when you feel like shit and you feel like you're literally going absolutely nowhere, you kind of just have to keep trucking and just trust that, like, as long as even if you're not seeing results, like as long as you feel like you're making the right decisions, you'll get where you need to go. But yeah, you want to play the next song?
Yeah, the last thing I'll say about that song is that I think we talked about it a little bit before finalizing it. I think it did not originally end in a question, but we decided we wanted to leave it that way, that this song is about asking questions and not answering any of them.
Yeah.
Maybe coming up with hypotheses about what the answers to those questions were, but it's really just a song full of questions. How far, how long, how good, how strong? Is it there? Is my lack of faith misplaced? Have I caught up to my mistakes? Nothing is saying, the only thing that's definitive is like, I'm keeping it together. That's the only, like, this is what's happening. But everything else is a fucking question. And I think also just like to the effort of sequencing, it's nice, like, it's a good like opening question to ask, because it asks a lot of questions. And I think most of those questions get answered throughout the rest of the record, especially with Turning Point kind of symbolizing that light at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah.
That will end up leading to, other things. But yeah, that's one of my favorite things, is that it asks questions and it leaves it on a question. So it's a dark song, but it's not final. There's no finality to its darkness. It's still like,
yeah,
maybe, but yeah, here's Wither Away.
My time spent sitting waiting as I watch another day go to waste.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Sick. Hey, so we got some comments. So this is definitely a bunch of people's favorite songs. Bidu, Travis, Crazy Bees. Crazy Bees talking about how they like the contrast to the music video for Light at the End. And I think it accounts for this song too, just how dark the song is, but how much fun the videos are. And Travis says Wither Away, I think, was the first song that popped up in his Spotify I Discover Weekly. And then Chris Farrell asks, you guys might have already answered this, but what is your favorite, each of you guys' favorite songs from Turning Point? And I think we can just answer that as we hit the song. And this is probably, I mean, if I had to pick a favorite, this was a huge song for me, like right at the beginning, from the very first moment I heard the riff. So this could definitely be my favorite song. And the chorus is my favorite. Singing the high note at the end of this song is my favorite part of any Good Terms performing that I do.
I reserve my right to change my opinion literally whenever the fuck I want, and most certainly at the end of this.
Oh yeah, I answer a different song every time.
At the end of this, I will change my mind after having gone through and heard them all again. But this and Turning Point, but probably this one first, even though I might like Turning Point better. This is the song where it's like, oh, I have time for one song to show you. It's going to be this one. Because musically it's a fucking blast and it really hits all the notes that we like. But also just like this song, all of us scream, I've known who I want to be since I was fucking 17. And that's just like that's yep, that's correct. That's our, like, if that's a missing statement, you know.
I actually, so this is the only song that on the record that was written by one person, which I guess in full, which was written by me, but honestly, it should be credited to me and Brian, because he wrote, which is my opinion, the most important line.
Legally, it is. So
legally, what happened to me?
But yeah,
it was something like, I've known who I want to be since I was fucking 17, and I think the original thing was like, and I won't be happy until, I don't know, dream was the end of it. I forget, maybe until like I'm living that dream or something, like something that I didn't like that was like, all right, it rhymed. And then I remember being like, all right, that's the only thing that I think I'm not down with. Obviously, when we write stuff, anything that anybody wants to change is on the table. Like none of us have any ego about like, well, I wrote this, so fuck you. Like, it's always just like, I mean, honestly, it usually moves in the opposite way where we're like, I wrote this, so it probably sucks. So help me.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of fighting, unless I have this like transcendent out of body, like this line is good. I'm mostly just like, cool, here's what I wrote. Now change all of it. But like,
yeah, I remember because there was that giant folder of tracks, and this was the one that I had picked. You were like, hey man, pick a track and we can like write a song over it to do next. And I picked this one. It was called Steph Curry is the Legolas of Basketball. What happened to Steph Curry? Do people still talk about him?
Yeah, he's
still doing it.
He's great.
Okay, good.
He had an injury recently, but
I mean, we changed the name of this song, so he lost that PR.
We should say all of the joke titles.
I was going to say real quick.
Yeah, we should tell everyone all the joke titles.
Zach, you know, I can't remember.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, all I can is gluten-free lap dance.
Love that.
Hamster wheel.
Hamster wheel is strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Yep.
Light at the end is butt chug a monster.
Butt chug a monster.
So I feel like I need to do a quick 10 seconds on that. When I read that on like the Google Drive, I thought it was
butt chugga monster,
a monster with the adjective prior to it, butt chugga. Oh, it's one of them butt chugga monsters. And then someone's like, no, it's like to like ingest through your anus a monster. And I was like, holy shit. You know, sometimes you just take things at face value and it's there forever. But
yeah,
so this one will forever be butt chugga monster.
Yeah.
Wither Away was Steph Curry.
Steph Curry is the Legos of basketball. Sandcastle never happened.
Wait, no. Let's do the rest of them in real time with it.
In real time.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, so this song, Zach, fuck you. This song fucking bangs.
Yeah, dude, the riff, the better, and then as soon as it kicked in, I was just like, Oh my god, like the syncopated kicks and everything, like that's what I was looking for. And it had the big chorus.
Thank you. Yeah, this was like, I think I wrote More Than I Deserve prior to this. And I had that track, and I have I wrote this. I forget what there was a fourth one. I forget what it was, but I had like four. I remember the fourth one was it had some dumb, stupid joke name too. But there was More Than I Deserve, which I have to just say it was 4 tracks. It was My Favorite Color is Ham, which is More Than I Deserve, Teaching a Robot to Love, which we've never done anything with. I forget what the other one was, and then this one,
Dude, it might have been Reverend Al Sharpton or
Al Pastor Sharpton,
Al Pastor Sharpton,
which is wasted my age. Spoiler alert. The
so fine.
But yeah, so I have this massive list in my phone that's just called hardcore song titles. And whenever we write a thing, instead of being like, ooh, what should we name this track? Like Water or some, like, we just pick a thing that is like so very clearly cannot be the title. So that when we actually write the song, it's like, okay.
It doesn't influence it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's called Karabakh Meat Market, April 14th.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I picked this one to write to, and you were like, dude, I've actually already written a song for that, and there's no way that we're gonna use it. And I was like, all right, fine. And it was this one, which is like one of my favorite ones to sing.
Yeah,
and also a lot of people have said that this is their favorite song.
Yeah, I have to just tell this story because Gio's not here, but the Good Terms began as me making things and being like, I want to start a band with my friends, and Gio was the only one living here, and obviously, like, he's been my BFF for a really long time, and obviously he plays bass, so it's like, okay, well, that's your lineup spot, buddy. But Gio was doing a lot of really cool stuff at the time, and like, I kind of felt like, even though he's my best friend, I kind of had to like make some stuff to impress him. So I made those like 4 tracks, and then went on and was like, all right, like, I remember being like, oh, I'm going to show all of them to Gio and get his opinion. Like, what do we start doing stuff for this band with? And I played this one first, and he like didn't say anything the entire time. And I'm listening to it and kind of being like, oh shit, whatever. And as soon as he finished it, he was like, dude, that's the first song that just sounds like Zach. That, like, he's like, that's the best thing you've ever done. And like, especially when it went into like the breakdown part, and that was
breakdown
like,
is, yeah,
that was like one of the, I don't know, this song was like, definitely gave me a lot of confidence to like really do all of this. And like, I made this, I remember around that time too, Brian Jones had just got back from tour, and we were about to like leave to go somewhere, and I was like just finishing up mixing it or something, or finishing up mixing like a demo, and he just like got to my house early and came in and was like, he's like, hey, what is that? I was like, oh, this thing I made like for this band I'm like trying to start. And he was just like, dude, that sounds like done. Like, that sounds like a real thing. And so, like, obviously Gio and Brian Jones, obviously they're 2 of my best friends, but also 2 people who I like respect musically more than like anybody. Just like having that, it was kind of like, I don't know, this was in many ways lyrically, and everything else was like just the catalyst for everything that is Good Terms. So that's cool that it's people's favorites. That's very flattering.
Ivan, you are muted. I can't hear a word you're saying.
Sorry about that. Zach, real quick before we go to the next one, give me 40 seconds on the best part of our album cover.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah, so that that was the only, so when we hired Wiccac, and I sent him like this whole proposal thing, basically being like, here's kind of an idea for every song, and like run with it if you want. And he didn't do that one. And that was the only one that I was like, okay, no, actually, can you make like a skeleton, like a half man, half skeleton, like sitting at a desk? And I tried to even find references, because Wiccac is from Indonesia. So like trying to explain things is much easier in pictures, rather than like, he speaks English well enough, but like not in a way that we could be like really descriptive down to like every detail. And I couldn't find any references. I just like tried to explain it the best I could via email, and then he sent us that back, and I would like got chills the first time I looked at it.
That's like, yep, that's it.
Yeah.
I think he likes it the best too. When he was hyping the album, he was like making it. And I think he was like, "Oh, that's sick." And he didn't announce it was good terms or anything. He just posted like just that little image on his story, and I was like,
Yeah,
Okay.
he's like,
Yeah.
stuff I'm working on. It's like, fuck yeah, dude. That's the rule. All right. Next on our list
Sandcastle.
is Sandcastle.
Yep.
I fucking love this song. So let's hear it.
I don't like sand.
I hate sand. It gets everywhere.
It's. I don't like sand.
I hate sand. Gets
You and I are a castle in the sand that we built with our dirty broken nails. I don't wanna wash it all off my hands, and I don't wanna watch it fail. You and I are a castle in the sand, and the sun is sinking like a stone. I'm afraid 'cause I don't wanna understand that I'll have to leave you in the dark, out here all alone. I hate to break your heart, but the tide is rolling in. It'll rip us apart, 'cause time will always win. Do I destroy this life we love, or stand by, avoid the fight and watch it crumble? You and I are a castle in the sand, and you build your life inside its walls. But there's a difference between dreams and plans, and it's tearing us apart. I'm sorry, I can't fix it all. I hate to break your heart, but the tide is rolling in. It'll rip us apart, 'cause time will always win. Do I destroy this life we love, or stand by, avoid the fight and watch it crumble? Do I destroy this life we love, or stand by, avoid the fight? Do I destroy this life we love, or stand by, avoid the fight? Do I destroy this life we love, or stand by, avoid the fight? I hate to break your heart, but the tide is rolling in. It'll rip us apart, 'cause time will always win. Do I destroy this life we love, or stand by, avoid the fight and watch it crumble?
And we're back.
Sick. Travis says, I love that vocal only section. Me too, dude. Didn't have too many of those in the record, so I'm glad we got it in. Sandcastle, dude. This one never had a joke name. This one was always just Sandcastle.
Yeah, I
It-
feel like the ones that you start usually just like you
Well,
just
it was
want
the
them to be.
it was the first one Zach and I had done from scratch. So there was no pre-existing track. This was one of the few that we sat down and Zach and I were just like, all right, man, what's up? Like, what are we going to talk about? What's bothering you? And we wrote all the lyrics first, and we wrote all the music. Well, I don't really know if how we did the chords and the melodies and whatnot. Actually,
I remember it was. I think we had a whole. We definitely had a session sitting in your living room that started like the getting the idea, and I think we kind of had like. I think we like sussed out like a concept about like using the sandcastle metaphor, but I don't even think it ever touched a guitar. We might have just written. Excuse me. We might have just written like the first verse or two, and I remember you. I think you wanted it originally to be a verse refrain, and have it go and have the chorus be the B section.
it is. It actually is that. Still, I would contend.
Yeah. And then which is why I think because this I think it was originally like verse, bridge, verse was like, and then we are like, oh, maybe it'll go into somewhere else. And then I think once we got to the bridge, we were like, and wrote the melody, we were like, no, this is the chorus, which thank God we did. But yeah, this was almost an experiment of just like, let's see if we can just, and also it was the first song that you and I ever co-wrote together, Brian. Like we wrote Hamster Wheel with Ivan, but I think this was the first just solo dolo mission. And yeah, I don't know, this is like I still really like this song. This is personally my least favorite song on the record, so I think it's really cool to hear people like it. That like it seems to be like even people, like a lot of people that have bought the record will then post like that. This is very also just generally very sick to see, but anybody that's like posts our album, our vinyl on Instagram or something is always like, damn, Sandcastle, that's the song. I'm like, okay, sick.
Yeah, I think we didn't do that much, with the rest of the instruments. Like we do a lot of like noodly stuff with the guitars and the rest of the instruments and on the rest of the songs in the record. And this one is a lot more like chords and big things that are hard to move around musically quickly. Like even the breakdown, which I always forget about, and I go back to, and I'm like, oh, this is one of my favorite things I've ever written. The breakdown is just so simple and sweet and kind of whack because it's phrases of 3 bars, which I think was by accident. And then we get to have some singer-songwriter, the builds and the vocal only section and that crazy section of drums that Brendan McCusker never, ever, ever fucked up, which is insane.
The fucking bucket.
Yeah, dude, Brendan, however many takes he did of that section, he nailed that every single time. It was wild.
Dude, I can't tell you how many I'm happy it finally got onto one track, but I wrote the that I put that dude, it must be like it's more than 5 tracks that's in that just aren't on the record. I'm happy it's on one.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, that's just a very home base part for me. Yeah, you wrote the breakdown, remember? Because I would have never written it in 3. I think we just did that. You were like, I wanted to have like some movement. I don't want to like go to open 1 and just chug. I think I probably added the all the little like
that seems like a you thing.
Syncopated stuff in it, but that that was all you, which is great.
That's some follow shit.
Little William Tell overture.
You can tell that you can tell that this was a songwriting first part because by the time we got to the bridge, we were like, fuck the bridge. Like, I think that's something we'll probably just do a lot more moving forward. It's like, do we need to say anything more? I think that's the question. I think
that's the thing. So if you only look at the original lyrics, or if you only look at the lyrics that don't repeat, this is just an AABA song. Like we end the new content after verse, chorus, verse, and it just makes the track different, shine a little differently. I think I don't know. And it was just such a sleeper for us for so long. I don't know why. Maybe just because it doesn't have any exciting guitar riff off the bat like every single other song on the record does. But yeah, and uses a lot more tensions and uses a lot more like weird harmony and shit.
This one is like might be like weirdly one of my favorites on the record. One, because I didn't have anything to do with it, which always bodes well for me liking the song. And also just like the fat fucking vocal layers on the chorus, just like
Oh yeah.
kill me every time. They're so good. And then
And this is
obviously-
this is the first song I screamed on, even though we didn't use it.
yes.
Like that I ever tried to scream on a thing, and was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I should learn how to do that for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The screaming got at in my original concept of this band, it was not a screaming band necessarily. And then I remember we did Hamster Wheel. And I was like, I don't know how to scream. And I literally like went in and did the incorrect screaming thing where you just literally yell at the top of your voice. And then Brian was like, and I think we added that. It was the one that's on the record has now been replaced with Brian doing it. I think I'm still one of the harder and harders.
Yeah, I think so.
But like the wrong screaming sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
does.
like it's just completely unsustainable, and you get like
Three takes of it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, this was we did this one, and then I forget what song we did next. I had screaming, and you're like, oh yeah, I figured it out. Check it out. And Brian learned
We
how to
went back and redid everything, didn't we?
Yeah, and then I went back and redid all the screams. Yeah, because they were wild, dude. They were wild screams before. They were big and
I remember that.
yeah.
We ready to fucking hit this Biggie slappy slap? Finish side A?
It's time, dude.
Oh, real quick, very obviously, front and center on the album artwork is
Oh yeah.
the Sandcastle. So
oh yeah.
that one's
That's the album art.
real subtle, kind of hard to like decipher. But yeah, that's what that is.
But what does
Oh
it all
yeah,
mean?
and got a bloody nose. Slippy Dips on Twitch. We'll go into how Kid learned how to scream in one of or over the next two songs specifically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We will
Really
talk about
relevant. But let's get on to the end of side A for those LP lovers out there. Chess.
Is this my turning point? Am I capable of joy? Is this my turning point? Am I capable of joy? And I'm still alone. I knew you'd never come back home. Obligating you from home. Had a song you used to sing. Now I don't hear anything. Those guys become your guilty pleasure. Do what we think. What love? What love? What love do I got now? You're rolling black. Don't smoke to next. There's no direction. I never went for death till it gave me an excuse to need you. You're rolling rich, just smoke to next. There's no direction. I never went for death till it gave me an excuse to need you.
All right.
Dude, that was the most spontaneous song on the record.
That song fucks, man. Real way.
I saw a comment the other day. I forget who it was. I think it was like some random like review or something that was like, yeah, I like this album, but I wasn't really into it until I heard Chess, which is so funny to read.
And that's what I love about Chess is there's not enough of it to turn someone off of the record who's not into that.
Yeah.
But there's enough of it.
It's enough for like if you're like a 10-year-old who's not quite into it, if you're just putting on the CD You're just like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm not gonna skip it. It'll be over, and then
But
eventually,
also, like, it's enough to like convince somebody who wants more of that, but is generally cool with the record. Otherwise, it's enough to convince them, like, hey, you should stick around and keep checking it out because that's there.
so
that's
for yeah.
Perfect.
So what happened was I think we had blocked out time in the schedule if it was possible if Brendan was a superhero and finished the whole record in 2 days, which he did.
As he was, and he did.
Then we were planning on doing kind of something impromptu and seeing what would happen. And the night before that session that was it, right? Or maybe it was the night after the first session. Gio sent us a demo of Chess that was almost entirely what is on the record.
Well, so
Yeah.
yeah, we kind of thought we booked 3 days thinking like, all right, cool. We knew that we had all of the entire album was already all recorded, all the vocals, all the harmonies, all the guitar, all the bass. We just did all of it DI, which is like a recording thing. We just recorded directly into the computer and then made like all of our editing and picked the best takes and everything, and then reamped all of it, which is like basically just sending it from the guitar or from the computer to an amp, like what you played, and then you mic up the amp. So it's as though you're playing into an amp, but you're not, but just to get the amp's tone. And so we knew we had to do that. We were like, all right, Brendan can probably do maybe like 4 songs the first day, 3 songs the second day, 3 songs the third day, something like that. And he just burned through 5 the first day. And we were like, all right, well, we're in pretty good shape. And
Truly
then the second day he just did 5 again. We were like, wow, okay, well, we've already spent a bunch of money on this third day. What the fuck are we going to do? We still had like some reamping thing to do. We had to like all of the drum samples on the album are just literally his Kit's samples. So we then created those the next day by having him like, you know, hit the ride bell or hit the snare softly, hit the snare with a t-shirt on, what like, and you know, just making tones for us to like layer everything else with. So, but all that we had left to do, I'm pretty sure, was just get samples for the drums. And that night, all of us, like, I mean, I think I can speak on behalf of all 4 of us. Like those first 2 days were like some of my favorite days of my life. It was just so fucking creative and so fun. And like, we like did a lot of rehearsal with Brendan to get him to nail the parts, which obviously he did, but he came in like super prepared. He made charts. Like if there are any drummers out there that want to learn how to play the song, we literally have sheet music for the drums for every song.
Wild.
It doesn't have all the fills on it because some of it we replaced. Like
But it has written fills. That's pretty wild.
It's like 95% the record. But anyway, we so we just called Gio because me, Ivan, and Brian we're all next door neighbors. So we were just at my place and we were chatting. We're like, what could we do? Brian had this acoustic song that we tried recording kind of like a weird live version of. We kind of just like we're like, oh, we have some random ideas of just stuff, and we called Gio and he was like, well, I have this like Boston hardcore track that I made, and it was just called X. The joke title was just straight edge X.
Yeah.
1X. So we almost named the song X. Well, I'm happy we named it Chess. I won't tell that story because it's Gio's to tell if he wants to, but Gio wrote all these lyrics after the fact.
Yeah.
But we co-wrote them with him, but it's his story. And he was like, when he sent us a track, he was like, I have this Boston hardcore song that I was just gonna make for fun, but like if we do it, I want to sing lead on it. And all of us were like, yes, oh my god, that's an amazing idea. And so we went in the studio, drums, everything were set up, bass, guitar amp was already all set up. And so like in 6 hours we wrote, like Gio had, I would say it's like 60-70% similar to his old demo, and then the ending riff is different and the tempo switch is different, and like, but the like the intro was all him, the
the fast part,
that was all Gio. So most of it was the same, but at least just from beginning with that, start to finish, it was like 6 hours. Everything other than vocals, all the guitar, all the bass, we just tracked it right there, then sent it into the amp so we could have like the same process as all the rest of the songs. And it was just so fun. It was like so spontaneous, and like everything else on the record was like very meticulously planned and all of that. And it was just really cool to like have something where we were all just like, fuck it. Like, I don't know if this is even going to make it, but we got this time, may as well use it. And I think we're all really thrilled it made it.
And then weeks later, Gio and Zach and I got together. We wrote the lyrics, which is a really cool process. And then after that, we all got together at Gio's place to record the vocals, which was really, really fun. That was also a really, really good, like 3
That was a great time.
sessions, maybe.
Lots
And
of
yeah,
good,
and
content came out of that.
yeah, and if you've seen the videos, like that's where the Gio shirtless singing into the mic is from.
This is where parts are made.
Yeah, this is where parts are made. That's from that. Yeah, and I guess to talk about the screaming here. This was the first song we did that was all tough, that had no pop punk section. It's the only song on the record I think that doesn't have like, a kind of sweet section to it. Because even Pedestal, which I would say gets nastier than this, doesn't it has like a an answer, a pop answer to it. So so we knew we were going to use screaming. We didn't really know what kind. I think we kind of knew Gio was going to do a classic yelly scream, kind of sing in a pitch. He kind of has a note, and then at the end he goes crazy. And we tried out a few different kinds of screams that he had, and they're all just these balls to the wall. And he loses them after a few takes too, I think sometimes. And then I just came in to like, I don't know, sing high and rip some Velcro in my throat somewhere. So I learned to scream over a year. It was from what's the guy's name? The YouTube video that you showed me, Andy something.
Andy Sizik, yeah, who's
Andy
fucking
Sizik.
amazing. He's like, he was just on Lead Singer Syndrome. Actually, he was talking about it, and I didn't really consider this until Shane said it, but he's like, he might be the most technically skilled rock singer, because he was just like a YouTube guy, but now he's in that band Monuments. It's like kind of like a gent band. He has like 800 other projects, and he can do everything. He can do like the deathcore crazy, like highs and lows. He has like a great like fry scream. When he sings, he kind of sounds like Tillian a little bit. Like he can get really fucking high. Dude, just an amazing singer and like crazy understanding of his voice. But there's a YouTube video where he just talks about learning how to fry scream.
Yep.
Brian learned it out quickly because it's basically just like you create this sound with your vocal cord, which is like this type sound.
Yep.
I can't make loud, but you make this like small sounding sound that doesn't actually use any of your throat, and then you just push it out with your chest, and that's what makes it sound like so emotive and crazy. It's like there's air that's all coming from your chest, which makes it so powerful. But I don't know. You explain.
Yeah.
You know you're doing.
So, well, yeah. So you use this fry sound, and then there's this way you can kind of flip it up in your throat. I'm not gonna like do a tutorial right now, but you have this small sound, and you can kind of open your throat and amplify, let that resonate, and that turns into the and that's kind of where the scream comes from. And it took me like a year to learn. Like I watched that video, and it was like a year of driving, stuck in rush hour, with no 45 minutes straight of practicing, before I came home to Zach one day and was like, "Hey, dude, I think I have this sound," and I did some Under Oath line or something. We were like, "Oh shit, dude, this is what's got to go on the record." But by the time we did Chess, I had been doing it for a while. I could do a little bit of just highs and lows and stuff. So I love the screams in Chess. I love being the second singer on Chess. I think it's really fun.
You also you already had crazy control of your voice. Like you already could do like the Axl Rose type shit or like the AC/DC type shit. I remember even like right when you first moved here, you're talking about learning how to scream, and you did a thing. You're like, yeah, I can kind of make this Dave Grohl thing, and you did like dad, and you did like that section, and it was like, that's kind of that. Like I feel like you just needed that little technique aspect to like, because you already had such like a knowledge of what you were doing that I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, so I can make that like sound, but I can't do it in the same way that you can. So part of it's just honestly being a good singer to then learn how to do it.
Well, let's get into kids singing and screaming some more.
Yep.
On our next track, Pedestal.
Petty steady. Pedicure.
up with you. And something died inside of who I knew. Oh, I'm so disappointed. I missed your voice, but I can't avoid that. I just don't want you being someone new. You've got me so conflicted. My love is lost, but I'm still addicted. Is this really what you want to do? I fucking hate how much I love you. You know you're better than this. Are you better than this? I'm watching you erase yourself. The best way to cope is not to care. You're sounding like you're someone else. The best way to cope is not to care. Why do I spend my thoughts on something I can change? The best way to cope is not to care. 'Cause I know that you don't wanna be saved. The best way to cope is not to care.
All right.
And we're back.
Pedestal, dude. This one's just hilarious. I can't believe
That song grew on me 1,000-fold as soon as I saw that first draft of the video, and I was just like, I think this song is great. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the video was a big moment for it for me.
This is definitely my
Um,
favorite song to play on the record. Also, we said we'd get to it. I think this is my favorite song. This one or Light at the End, either of those two. But
Nice.
um,
All right, this one had a track, a dumb name.
oh,
What was it?
It was I'm pretty sure it was Girlfriends. Can't live with them, can't kill them.
yeah.
It was a Geo. It was a Geo one, right?
Not didn't age the best, but
no.
all right.
Nah, do you remember that time when it was fine to kill your girlfriend?
Oh, man.
That's
One
why they're
person-
joke titles and
That's why
not
they're joke
publicly known.
Oh,
Um,
that's why you don't tell everybody what they are.
yeah, that's true. No, but I don't think this one even like lived that title. Honestly, we like thought that was really funny because it was in the notes app, and I think it was Sandcastles for a while, and then we were like, no, that's us. Sandcastle doesn't need one, and then I think this is the same thing too. We just immediately started referring to it as Pedestal.
Mhm.
This is a fave because we made this track. I just love the way this one came together. You, as you said when we did Hamster Wheel, you're what are you laughing at, Ivan?
Just
Hey,
mad
guys,
and stuff.
Guys, this was Geo. Geo wrote that. Geo wrote that title. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we wrote a song about art.
yeah. All of this is written pre-lyrics. So this basically Brian, as he said with Hamster Wheel, he had this riff laying around. So we were like,
Yep.
all right, let's do the like the crazy thing in the beginning. And we originally, I think, thought like, yeah, let's make this like kind of linear. Even if we repeat like a section, like I don't want any part to be copy and paste. So like even though the chorus is the same, like it's the same lyrics and chords, you know, the first one's full time, second one's halftime, like still not quite linear, but like whatever. We went in with that, and I think we got up to like we didn't even name the sections verse, chorus. It's just called, it was like riff was the first one, then the what was became the verse was just fast, I think, and then Poppy was the chorus, and then I think I just said yuck for what was going to be a yuck part. We didn't get there. We wrote the whole first. We wrote the riff. We had that done. We had like the track laid out and everything. We got up to that part, and Brian and I. This is like I'm kicking myself for not mentioning this on the vinyl thing yesterday, but like so much of, I think, our like the way that we wrote songs, especially because it was a lot of just you and I like
Yeah.
living next door to each other and you like kind of being like, just show me stuff in your collection. There's a lot of times that we would just like get stoned at like, I don't know, late at night and just like listen to something and talk about like, this is what I really like about it. This is what I don't like about it. You never in
Yeah.
like exactly what I want to do, but just sort of like, oh, isn't that cool? You know, just finding inspiration. And this was around like the time when Under Oath was putting out Erase Me, which they're my favorite band. So they're like this like the whole like lead up to that. And Brian had like never really listened. I don't think you had to listen to Define the Great Line in full. So we were like, oh, let's fucking listen. Like I was like, we have to listen to this. I think this was the night that we decided, oh, let's do it. Or maybe it wasn't the same day, but at any point we stopped. And then at some point we later picked up and got stoned and listened to the entire thing of Define the Great Line front to back. And then immediately after we were like, you want to go work on that track? And we wrote the entire rest of the song. At
Wow.
least like the drum mapping. Like I
That
remember,
sounds right. Yeah.
because of course I just listening to essentially this is just ripping off that entire album. There's a lot of Aaron Gillespie fills. I'm like,
Mhm.
all the drums. It's mostly the drums.
Yeah.
So
all
so
his-
that's great because Byron asks, can you guys clarify, is this song about a band? And if so, which band?
I think it's more importantly about 2 albums, right?
The song
Not necessarily.
technically is about our own internal struggle
Yes.
with our like how we feel about our relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Because we didn't it's not about like did a band put out a record that we didn't like, or something much more serious, did a band do something that we didn't like. It's more like, why does what this person or entity does affect me so much? Like,
Yeah.
when someone puts out an album I don't like, or when someone does something terrible, just trying to learn, like, why does that fuck me up so much? It's like, oh, maybe it's because I used to identify with that person. I used to want to be that person. So for me to learn something like that about them, depending on what it is, it's just, and I was just like confused.
It also speaks to learning to put the art on the pedestal and not the artist.
Yeah.
Like idolize the art.
Yeah.
Like, that's what stands.
I was thinking about this when I was the other day when I was thinking about like, just, I don't know, what this song is about, and just like kind of the past couple years, just reflecting on writing everything. And 2016 was like, as far as like content coming into my life, was like one of the best years of my life. Like my favorite band, Under Oath, reunites, plays their 2 best albums. Maybe not they're the best. 2 of my favorite of their albums, front to back. Chasing Safety, Define the Great Line. I saw that tour 4 times. My favorite movie series, fucking Star Wars, comes back. Force Awakens, like, yeah, okay. In retrospect, it's just a remake of the first movie, but still, it was just like dopamine. Yeah. Like everything you love is back, and it's fucking awesome. Like just constantly. And then, but that was 2016, and then now fast forward to this song, 2018. Under Oath makes a record that I think is good. I think Erase Me they did a good job, and it's clearly like what they wanted to make. But
that got me into Under Oath,
which is funny, but I was fucking bummed. Like,
yeah.
And that's like, and Brian was like, Fall Out Boy are his OGs, and same thing with him too. It's like, dude, yeah. Like I wish I could just fucking like not care about this, but it's like when you personally put something or somebody on a pedestal, it's really hard to then take them off that or look at it objectively. And also, like, it's honestly, it's just as much about the fucking Last Jedi Star Wars movie sucking than as everything else. It's just like we were, obviously we had this track done and we kind of like did the top line thing for it. But Brian and I remember, I'll never forget this. We were like sitting down in my room talking about it. And I was like, dude, I don't know what to write about. Like, I don't have any like poignant thing to say about like my life. Like, honestly, because we always just try to pick a topic of like what is most pervasive in our like emotions at the time. Cause it's going to be real. And sometimes you need a vent. And I was like, I can't stop thinking about this stupid fucking Under Oath album. Like, I think it's good. Like, but it's just not what I wanted. Like, I just want this thing. And it's really about that, of being like, you know, even when you think something is high quality or done for the correct reasons, it's like you still can't like just get it out of your fucking brain. And that was so frustrating. And I don't know, getting over, like, listening to this is, or writing the song as it has with all of our songs too. It's like, that's the thing that you just need to like vent and get out and kind of just vocalize and read, and being like, then reading back at these lyrics and being like, they're so melodramatic and over the top, which was intentional. But now I'm like, okay, I'm being ridiculous. Like,
It's good that you compared it to Star Wars, because in a way, because
yeah,
it's a good like retrospective to just be like, oh man, I don't want to be a fucking one of those Star Wars fans just like, what, actually, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up and enjoy it, or don't. But if you don't enjoy it, it doesn't need to be everyone else's problem, and stop telling people to kill themselves because you didn't like a role in the movie. Like,
yeah,
you're the worst kind of person. I feel the same way about Rick and Morty fans. Like, as somebody who loves Star Wars and Rick and Morty, it's like, sometimes, like, obviously I don't hide my Star Wars fandom, because I'm about as flamboyant with that as could be possible. But like, Rick and Morty's just like not cool to like, because the people who like it, there's a very small section who are very loud and are complete dicks about everything. And you're just like, you don't be an asshole. Like, no one knows you shit.
yeah.
You don't
And
like it, it sucks.
fans don't, I think, fully realize it. It's like, you have a lot of power, like, but your power is through your decision. So like, whether you choose not to listen to a like, if you choose to listen to something on Spotify or not, like, that's the way that you like vote in a way, or like what you consume, like what you say in the comment section. Nobody fucking cares. Like, I say this as a fan as well. Like, your opinion just literally does not fucking matter. Like, especially if it's negative, someone's going to go like, oh, that person's having a bad day, and or is also just probably just a miserable person, and is taking it out on something. And like this, a lot of this was feeling like I'm being that butthurt fan, knowing, like, acknowledging that butthurt fans suck and we don't like them, just, and not to say that people like good terms, whatever, but like just that type of person you described, Star Wars, Rick and Morty, whatever. And it's like,
just bad, just fandom that's just like, just negative.
and especially with like, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, kids, show us that album artwork.
There you go.
And,
we also forgot chess, which there's chess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Texture. But yes, here's the pedestal. Beautiful.
But what I like
cornerstone of the composition
is that it does the right thing, that it puts the music on the pedestal instead of the actual artist, which is like the end result of like what you should do, because then you get to saying like, oh, fuck that song or fuck that record, not fuck that artist, because it's not. No, you don't mean that. If you don't like that thing, then you don't like that thing, and that's where it's.
Slippy Dip says, once you have butthurt fans, then you know you've made it.
Honestly, that's real.
But that's true. I saw the first hate comment that we got on, I think it was something around right at the end. I was like, yes.
There you go, dude. Yeah, I remember that.
There's a saying amongst pilots in the military that if you're taking fire, you know you're over the target. It's like, that's nice. That kind of sums it up. All right. Speaking of things that bang, this next song fucking bangs.
More than I deserve.
Let's spin it. And we're back.
All right. What a banger.
That song fucking ooh man. There's not much to say other than just that song starts with such a fucking bang. And it's just a blast. The fucking easy chord breakdown. Like, yeah. Beauty on Twitch says, oh yeah, total skateboard music vibes. Like, definitely. Also, shout out to this hoodie. That fucking video, man. What a blast. That
It's
thing's
a great time.
good time to shout out Sam Laponis, who is just like the absolute goat for the obvious music video prowess that he has lent us, as well as friendship and vibes. Yeah.
I don't know if I've told either of you this, but the song originally started with just like the very first thing was left, and then it began with
the breakdown, with the easy chord breakdown. That's awesome.
That was the start of the song, but it just and so like everything that has the was just that, which I love that part, but it just like it happening multiple times didn't feel as good.
Yeah.
And then I wrote the like that part. And as soon as that came, I was like, oh, okay, great. I think honestly, Ivan, this is probably close to when, because it existed like that for a while. And I was like, this track is like a work in progress. And I think I fixed it around the time that we wrote it.
Oh yeah, the track was like fully fleshed out by the time we wrote it, I think. And when you came over to my house that brisk winter evening, we're just like, what are we going to work on? It's like, oh, my favorite color is ham. That's available. It's like, yeah, let's. And I think we banged this song out with little edits afterward in 2 hours.
Yeah, I think Kid had a.
I wrote, can I figure it out?
Yep.
I remember that.
That fucking one line in there and 30.
I'm really good at the question before the second chorus. You need
wow.
That's me.
Yeah,
because what I do is it's like, oh, like it's always the line before, it's always the trigger line at the end of the second verse, and I always go like, oh, you haven't asked any questions yet, and if you have, I would go, oh, you haven't made any exclamations yet, and I would just go to that like list I have in my head.
Classic.
Yeah, that was such a fun time. Like, I also remember that was when we kind of like a big thing for all of us is this term called prosody, where it's like writing when a song gets quiet, or when a song like then you sing quietly, or when a song is sad, or when a song is sad, you sing in a minor key or whatever. And that, I think that was like that's very home base for us to be like, oh, that's the obvious thing of like matching the track, the track's energy, or the chords like tonal energy with what the lyrics are about. But when you write a song that's as like bubblegummy major key happy as this one, like imagine if this song was like I love my girlfriend, it would suck. So, and I think Ivan and I both realized that around this time. We were like, so much, and I think honestly that's just kind of what pop punk is a lot of the time. Sometimes it gets a little bit like that disconnect is way too far apart, and I'll hear something and just be like, okay, this is a little ridiculous. Like, are you guys aware how but I think this is at least for when we were writing it, we were shooting for that perfect in between of like, okay, so this track is really happy. It doesn't sound like at least what we can say has to feel conflicted. It doesn't have to be like my life sucks, I hate everything, I want to die. That mixed with something super poppy is usually like not the vibe. But I think with this, like that was a big, I don't know, real moment of realization of just being like, okay, I think this is what we can do with this. And then I forget how even this was the same thing that I did for Light at the End. You were like, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, I honestly, like, I don't want to write these words because like I know they'll hear them. And you're like, great, that's the first line of the song.
Literally, I was like, that's it.
Yep.
And the rest was just like, this song is made up of like 4 emotions, and us just like pulling them apart, getting like the real nitty gritty of them, and just exploring like 4 emotions, and then just really burning them out. And then that's the whole song. And it's simple, easy. Like
Mhm.
easy to get the hang of, and I don't know, just fuck with it, and yeah, like that, just like that, just like having that backbone that's like upbeat to then like carry the unsure emotion is it's perfect. I fucking love this song. It's such a banger.
Also,
Appreciate
kid adding the I forget how
Whoa!
I forget how this actually came to life. I think you might have I think you had that planned originally, but I think you were fucking around and you were like, oh, because I knew I wanted to have a tag ending and I didn't know what I wanted to be. And you were like,
Yeah.
yo, so what if it's like, you love me more? Whoa. And I didn't have like the hey, let's not do whoa stuff. And you just heard it. I was like, oh, fuck, that sounds awesome. Like,
Well, yeah, because it's
Let's
just
do it.
it's not a whoa. It's not a vocal. It's not like a centerpiece. It's an ad lib. It's an exclamation.
yeah,
So it is actually, I think, has the emotion.
it feels
Or I
so
hope it does.
great.
It
It
seems
feels
does.
so great every time it comes around.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part of the song. Can't tell you how many times I've just rewinded from the end to like 15 seconds before to hear the ooh whoa.
It might be my favorite 2 seconds on the record.
Yeah,
It's
same.
really funny.
Yeah.
All right,
All right, useless things.
down a notch and getting real close with ourselves.
Let's do it.
I've been filling empty boxes with dusty things once on display. I've been cutting all my losses. I made a promise to myself I'd give these useless